I'm Miley Cyrus. This is the Eliott Show. So let's freaking go. Ooh, ooh. Let's do it.
It is the Eliott Show Cameos, and that's where we have your favorite artists stop by and make a guest appearance on the show. And tonight, we have the legend who's been giving us bangers since she was a teenager, Grammy Award winner, and the latest person to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We got Miley Cyrus in the building. Welcome.
I'm going to bring you everywhere I go for that little intro now. Yeah.
Gotcha.
TSA, when they ask me for the passport, I'm like, this is my passport.
Yep, I'll do the whole thing every
Yeah, I
time.
like it. That's a good intro.
Yeah, I mean, it's warranted. I mean, those are all facts. Those are all true things. You gave us this new album, Something Beautiful, but the album wasn't enough. You also gave us a visual album. What made you say, like, the album isn't enough? We got to turn this thing into a movie.
I think music kind of, even though it is this really powerful kind of entity that we can't see, we can't touch, we can't manipulate in this way, it is something that is based on feeling. And I've always really kind of seen music as much as I've heard it. I think a lot of us, whether we are kind of conscious of it or not, we do kind of visualize sound, whether that's a memory. Certain people see colors or maybe places when you listen to certain songs. Even if you listen to a song, you kind of crave being somewhere that you could imagine it would sound really good.
Mhm.
So I think kind of at its core, in essence, music is visual.
Yeah, and you brought it to life. I mean, now that it's out, you got 52 minutes of just main character energy. You're singing your
Yeah.
butt off, you're dancing your butt off. You got wardrobe changes. You're doing everything. Can you give us a little behind the scenes of what it was like to shoot that? Like any particular days that were more fun or more difficult than
Yeah.
others?
Well, anytime, there's a scene that's emotional, it's both really kind of there's like a sense of relief because I do feel like, a moment like More to Lose. It's something that you've written, you've spoken about, but to perform it and to kind of take the performance out of the presentation because again, even though it is something that's kind of classic, it's shot in a way that feels I was really inspired by Whitney Houston and her performances of I Will Always Love You. And that was kind of the idea behind the glamour and the elegance, but the pain and so much of the sadness that's in that song. But again, kind of dropping into that moment and not really using a persona to kind of translate the song, but actually to tap into the real emotion, the story that is being told in the music. And so those days for me are exciting because I feel like it gives times in my life that have been hard a lot of purpose and meaning because to share them and use them as a tool to kind of connect and, really use music to kind of like heal the world in some way makes it feel bigger than myself.
Yeah, absolutely. You're using real emotion. Like these are real tears we're seeing. You're not acting when you're doing that.
No, because every lyric, I can think of a moment in my life that that lyric actually happened. And so I think that's one thing that's made our greatest performers the ones that we remember even after they're gone, especially someone like Whitney. It's every time you see her perform, you can feel her. And even though she does have this stage presence, and again, there's so much glamour and that, as especially as female performers, part of the performance is the way that you present yourself.
Mhm.
But sometimes that can eclipse the emotion and you don't want to mess things up. And I never wanted to be perfect in this video. I wanted it to kind of fall apart because that's what the song is about, a real love and relationship falling apart. And to see that, kind of happen in the visual just makes it feel really impactful, real, and emotional.
Yeah, and it's good to see it. It's good to see you bring it to life. I mean, now that I've heard the album and then I watched the movie, I don't feel like I could listen to the album anymore without watching the movie. Like I need to see these things in action.
Yeah, and you kind of once you see it, you really I think see it as you listen to the album, and that's why there's certain songs like, I was talking the other day, I used to stay up late because they would play No Doubt on TV like late at night past midnight, so I would wait with the TV on until I could hear It's My Life, and I could never listen to It's My Life without seeing the video in my head. And there's
Yeah.
certain videos that I think are really iconically embedded into the music itself. And it doesn't always happen, but it's always really kind of magical when you can create a visual that ends up kind of binding itself to just morphing into the song itself.
Yeah, and you did that, I think multiple times throughout this album, but one in particular that stands out is obviously Walk of Fame because you're literally on the Walk of Fame while you're
Yeah.
doing the song. But what came first? Did the song or you knowing that you were about to get a star on
No,
the
I didn't know I was going to get the star until the day before it was announced, which was like a week ago. So this was just pure manifestation and like full serendipity, really. I don't know if things happen just because, or I have to always like to believe there's something kind of more powerful that's creating this all that knows, it helps me know I'm at the right place at the right time when things align like that.
yeah.
So no, I was just there like anybody else, really admiring and honoring the history and the legacy of the names that are on that sidewalk, and having Brittany Howard write the poem. And really, she's, to me, to date, to, kind of in today's world of, songwriters and vocalists, I'm going to put her definitely top tier as one of my all-time heroes. Alabama Shakes, again, when we think about the nostalgia of music, Sound and Color has been an album that's, again, the way that an album might feel to one of my fans. I'm a true fan of Alabama Shakes, and that record has taken me through so many different times. I can almost slide through memories like a movie myself of times that that album really got me through. And so having her be the one to kind of speak that wisdom at the end just makes it more meaningful.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite cameos to see her
She's the one.
yeah, pop up. I was like, oh, that's our girl.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed in the video, I don't know if you did this on purpose, but you had this moment in the Walk of Fame where you're laying on the ground and the star that you're laying next to is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Which was also not planned. And we even go into the edit and everyone's like, we'll clean up the star. Obviously, we're not going to have it say Arnold on the star. And I was, no, you have to leave it. So
Yeah,
everyone else is going, you actually wanted to say Arnold on the star? I'm like, yes, because all of this stuff is like totally weirdly aligned and cosmic. And I knew the internet would think it was hilarious.
yeah, like some hidden meaning behind it. I just love some Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Exactly.
But what does it mean to you? I mean, all that you've done in the entertainment industry to have your name cemented with all these other legends on the Walk of Fame.
For me, it's a real kind of emotion and heart first reaction just because coming here as a kid from Nashville, just like a lot of people from around the country that don't grow up in LA, that kind of walk of fame is when you think of Hollywood. That's really where you kind of imagine is the heartbeat and the nucleus of the city. And so I was just totally blown away by the lights. And it's so far from the farm, I'm telling you that me and my dad were just always, we would go into all the souvenir shops, buy the little Oscars, the little Marilyn Monroe souvenirs. And so I just have a real early kind of emotional memory attached to it.
Yeah, and it's awesome to finally see. I mean, you're still young. I mean, you just put in so much work, but it is well deserved for all the things that you've done in the
Thank
industry.
you. And there's enough things, for me that to still look forward to, and continuing to create is one of them.
Hmm.
But anytime, I like what I like about the Walk of Fame stars. It's not something you take home. It's not a trophy. It's not an accolade like that. It's something that's so communal. It's something that people get to, walk across and be a part of. And I've never wanted to have something pristine or too perfect. And so having people to be able to kind of be a part of it with me is something that makes it, again, more meaningful.
Yeah, it's awesome. Now, before we let you get out of here, we gotta do this thing we call social commentary.
All
This is
right.
we jump into the comment section on social media to see how the
If this
people.
is about anything that's happening or going on, I have no idea, so this will be hilarious.
Now, this was just on one of your recent posts when you just announced that the movie was coming out.
Uh-huh.
People were excited, so they were saying things like "mother is mothering."
Mother is mothering.
They said, "This sounds like such a homage to all the musicians who have inspired her, and I love it."
I love that.
And they said, "I used to hate Miley, but this
That's on
album,"
there a lot.
but they said, "But this album is great." So you turn the haters into lovers.
I love anytime we can do that happens sometimes, and that's one of my favorite things. That happens a couple of times in your life where you go, all right, I can even sometimes see that at live shows where you can see somebody. I actually one time I could see the whole front row. I was going to cover Led Zeppelin, and all the guys were like this. And then I did it and they started high-fiving, and you're like, that's right, you convert them.
Yeah, that's tough to do, but you've
Yeah.
done it multiple times.
Yeah, that's always a real testament to the music for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, Miley, we appreciate you taking the time to stop by the show. You're welcome anytime you're not busy, making music and movies, come
Thank you
by
so
back
much.
anytime, okay?
It's been a good time. Thank you.